made history when the California Assembly elected her as its 67th Speaker, making her the first African-American woman to serve in this powerful state legislative role.
And now she's serving in Congress and finds herself in the thick of it. Boy, are you right now. Welcome, U.S. Representative Karen Bass of the 37th District right here of California. First of all, how are your holidays going?
My holidays are going great. It's wonderful to be back in California.
Okay, if there's one body that is not very popular right now, it is Congress. Don't get me wrong. The president, not doing so well either. But in general, what can you do to turn that around and regain the confidence of voters? Because polls show Congress is at an all-time low.
I know, absolutely. Well, the main thing is that we need to get work done. We need to actually get something done. I do have to say, though, that we do occasionally pass a bill. It just typically is not really well publicized. So, for example, before we went on break, we passed legislation around adoption incentives to encourage states to push adoptions. But the big issues are the budgets, and that's what we have coming up. So if we don't get it together by mid-January, the government shuts down again.
Right.
If we don't come up with a deal by February, we default.
So we saw the government shut down, and they sort of just pushed it off.
Right.
Right? It's an extended deadline. Are we going to see the same thing happen again when we're threatening a shutdown, or are they going to...
Well, I certainly hope not. I mean, now remember, the reason why we had the shutdown a couple of months ago was because my Republican colleagues were protesting and wanted to repeal health care reform. That was the reason. It wasn't budget related. And so this time coming up, I do think they got that out of their system. I don't think that's going to happen again. But the question is, will we come to a deal around the budget?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
You talk about the bills that don't get a lot of attention.
Yes.
I want to draw some attention. You introduced a bill here that could result in some significant jobs for South LA. This would be for transportation projects that are being built.
Right, and actually it would impact, you know, region-wide, and it's a piece of legislation that says that when you hire for major transportation projects, like the rail line, preferences need to be given to people who live in the area, as opposed to recruiting people from other cities or other counties. And so we introduced that legislation right before Thanksgiving, and it'll be something that I'll be working on, but it will extend until next year. When we go back, we're only in session for 8 more days, and then we're out until January.
The House is, this is no secret, is controlled by the Republican Party. The Senate is controlled by the Democrats.
Right.
When you talk about being able to come together and get real work done, we just had a poll this morning talking about the Republican favorites for the next presidential candidate on their side, the next presidential favorite for the Democratic side. Are we looking too far forward as to what the next presidential election will be? We have the congressional races coming up next year. I mean, are we looking too far forward and not focusing on the tasks at hand?
In my opinion, yes. 2016 is a decade away, really, in terms of politics. I think the focus needs to be on what's happening right now. And then, of course, we have the midterm elections next November, which is very important to me because I'm hoping that we'll be able to take back the House of Representatives and retain the Senate. I actually empathize for my Republican colleagues because I think the Republican Party has been taken over by a small faction. And when I talk to colleagues that have been there for many, many years, they say this is not the Republican Party that they used to be a member of. So I'm hoping that we can resolve those issues in the next mid-year election.
Okay, real quick, Affordable Care Act. I mean, there's some fixes we're talking about. Is it enough?
But the good news is that it's going very well in California. And there has been a tremendous amount of confusion. So a lot of people think that what's going on around the country in those 36 states where the governors were opposed to it and are doing everything they can to block it, that's not the story in California. California's good news. It's been going well.
The website's a little bit better here, too.
The website's going well. I had a town hall a couple of weeks ago. We enrolled over 400 people. And we, fortunately, do not have the issues that a lot of other states do.
But you would admit the national website so far has been a disaster. Okay, just check. All right. Congresswoman Karen Bass, thank you so much for getting up early. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.